right, let's get this bad boy started. So for the sake of the recording, my name is Tony Martinez. I am the owner and founder of this back office support system, TKO Financial Network, for anybody that's looking to run and build their own agency. We are a back office support. Today, we're doing a training, okay? Something that we do on a regular basis is weekly training on a particular topic, subject, or things that are in high demand. And the training we're gonna do today, excuse me, is focused on two things. One, the 401k. I'm gonna show you my presentation that I do on a 401k. Why is that important? Because it's important your client understand the pros and the cons of these investments that they're putting their money into. For those of you that are life and annuity licensed, it's great to know this for rollover opportunities, because where you want to roll over 401ks, if it makes sense, is into an indexed annuity or a fixed annuity or whatever annuity it is you're looking to bring them into. But before you recommend a solution, you got to show the client that they're in a problem. And so we're going to talk about the 401k today. And then we're going to shift gears completely. And I'm going to train you on how to do a drop by, right? A lot of us, sometimes want to know what's the proper way to drop by somebody's house or somebody's business and try to get into a meeting that's not scheduled. It happens more with lead generation agents. If you're an agent that's buying leads, you're always going to have a larger list of numbers that don't even pick up the phone. And so you got to take that extra step and plan it out in your day to drop by those addresses of those leads. Because my philosophy is very simple. If you paid for the lead, you deserve for that lead to tell you yes or no. What you don't deserve is for that person to ghost you. So they've got to tell you yes or no, whether it's by phone or it's in person. And drop bys, there is a psychology of how to do that. And we're going to talk about that. But let's get first into the 401k. For those of you who don't know, I've got 18 years experience in this industry. Can you guys hear me clearly? Yes, everybody's good? Good. I got 18 years experience in this industry. The place where I learned production the most is from a company called Northwestern Mutual. It's a mutual private career agency model. They're known for being one of the #1 training platforms. I'm very grateful that I had a chance to learn there how to really work this business, because they gave me the tools I needed to generate a 6-figure income, about $200,000 a year, just on my personal pen, without recruiting one single person, without buying one single lead, and without cross-selling other companies. I was selling one company. They became very good at teaching us how to really maximize these clients and how to cross-sell and really do a good service in educating the client. Education is huge. So let's talk about the 401k. 63 million people recently lost their jobs because of the pandemic. 55% of them had a 401k or a 403b or some type of a qualified retirement account with that employer that's no longer employing them. And so the biggest opportunity you have there is to do what's called a rollover, moving that money from where it is, an employer sponsored plan, into an individual plan that we all know as an IRA. And what vehicle do we typically use to create this IRA is an indexed annuity, right? An FIA, a fixed indexed annuity. But the client needs to be educated first on where their money is. I'm very big about using dry erase boards, right? For those of you that know me, you know that I do a lot of virtual meetings, so I don't mind doing it this way. The reason I like doing it this way is because as I'm doing the presentation, I get to tell the story. Now, we have in our back office a digital presentation that looks exactly like what I'm about to draw. If you're more of a flip chart agent and you want to just show something digitally, you can do that as well too. I'm just telling you my preference. I would rather them only be focused on what I'm writing versus the entire screen, right? Now, if you're a belly-to-belly agent and you're taking with you, you want to do these presentations face-to-face, here's what I recommend you bring with you. Yellow legal pad. Some of my agents that have been with me for a while, what's the reason why you want to bring a yellow pad and not a white pad to your client's meeting? Anybody know?
It shows up clear.
Correct. The people that are visually impaired, yellow is an easy color for people to see. White is a very difficult color. So when I go out to the field, I bring my leather pad. I have a yellow legal pad and I have a dark Sharpie, right? And so I typically will do the presentation here. Once I'm done, I tear out that sheet of paper, I put it on top of the table, and that's almost like my business card, because they get to take that with them, right? So just so you know the different ways to run that meeting. I'm going to do it here today. Okay, so let's talk about the 401k. Listen to the story behind it as I do it, because that's important. Okay, a 401k is nothing more than a tax code, just so you guys know. This tax code was invented in 1978. They created this tax code. The reason they invented it back then is because back in 1978, taxes were at 70%. 70%. Can you imagine? Every dollar you earn, Uncle Sam was entitled to 70 cents of that money. That's facts. That's what happened in 1978. So people back then were at an outrage. They were like, wait a minute, we got to find a way to legally hide my money from this tax rate. We got to find a way to hide it, for the time being and worry about it later, crossing my fingers that later taxes go down, right? Now, the vehicles that they were talking about where their money were at were, like I said, a 401k, which is, again, just a tax code. The Internal Revenue Code Book 401-K says if an employer, a for-profit employer creates a retirement account, it's called the 401k. If it's a non-for-profit organization like a church, it's called a 403B. Same exact tax code, but it just tells you that this is coming from a non-for-profit organization. If you create something like this for yourself, it's called an IRA, which stands for an individual retirement account. All of them have to abide by the same rules. And here are the rules. Let's just say hypothetically, that you made $50,000 on that given year. And of that 50,000, you put $5,000 of your money into one of these, right? By law, this tax code says when you pay taxes on that given year, you're only going to pay Uncle Sam as though you earned $45,000. You legally hid $5,000 of your money in here. Now, this now becomes what's called a qualified account. And qualified means that basically qualified, the term qualified means rules. Uncle Sam's going to put rules on this. What are some of the rules? One rule is the 59.5 rule. That rule says if you touch this money before you turn 59.5 years of age, that's 59 years of age in 6 months, 59.5. If you touch this money before you turn 59.5, you're going to pay a 10% early withdrawal penalty, a fee for taking your own money, plus taxes wherever in the world they are on that given year. Right now, taxes are averaging right around 33%. So what does that mean? That means you're paying 43% for every dollar you take out as a penalty, a tax, or a fee, right? Now, you might ask yourself, wait a minute, how many people actually do this? 80% of 401ks are tapped into before 59.5. You know why? Because life happens. That's why. Life punches them in the face. Somebody loses a job, somebody needs to fix an AC, some medical emergency happens. I mean, the reasons are endless. I mean, look, I'm from Florida. If the AC breaks in the middle of September, I promise you, everybody's paying that penalty to fix their AC. They no way in God's green earth they're gonna stand all summer long without an AC. So if it's a $10,000 repair, you better plan for a $15,000 cost because you got to pay this 43%. Here's one rule. Now there's a second rule called the 72.5 rule. The heck is a 72.5 rule? This means by the time you turn 72.5 years of age, by the time you turn 72.5, you have to start taking money out of this qualified account. You have no choice. If you don't take money out of this account, Uncle Sam says, I'm gonna charge you a 50%, 50% excise fee, plus taxes wherever in the world they are in the future, which we have no idea where taxes are gonna go. I'm gonna give you a prediction where they're gonna go in a moment. But yes, that's what's gonna happen. Now, this 50% fee is based on the amount that you're required to take out. It's not 50% of the entire nest egg. right? Uncle Sam says there's a certain percentage you have to take out by 72 and a half. If you don't take that percentage out, Uncle Sam's going to take half of that amount you're supposed to take out as an excise fee. The amount you're supposed to take out is about 7 to 10% of your balance, just so you know. But I mean, dude, 50% fee, that's still a lot, right? So what does that mean? That means that if the only safe place you can tap into your money without having to worry about this 10% early withdrawal fee or this 50% excise fee is between the age of 59 and a half and the age 72 and a half. That's your safe zone. And although between that safe zone, you're avoiding these fees, somebody unmute themselves and tell me what's one thing you're still not avoiding.
Taxes.
Taxes.
That's right. You still got to pay Uncle Sam his taxes. Do you know you got to pay Uncle Sam taxes, not just on the money you put in there, but on everything that it grew, all the earnings that it had over the years. You know, if you put money in for 30 years and you invest it the right way, you know, you're going to double your money probably 2.5 times. You're paying taxes not just on what you put in, but all of the earnings, the whole harvest, not the seeds, right? You got seeds, harvest, you're paying taxes on the harvest, the whole thing. You can't avoid it. You're still paying it, right? Now, let me explain something to you. Did that go through? I think it did. Okay, somebody was trying to hop on, but I don't know if they did or they didn't. You know, this is what this is telling me. This is telling me that when you mess around with the IRS, the money's theirs. That's what that means. The money's theirs. Ask yourself this question. If you had to pay taxes on money, would you rather pay taxes on the seed or would you rather pay taxes on the harvest? Do farmers pay more money when they buy a bag of seeds at Walmart, or do they pay more money if they buy the plant that's already grown? They pay, right? They pay more money on the harvest. It doesn't mathematically make sense to me for you to say to yourself, hey, I'm going to not pay taxes now. I'll worry about it later. It doesn't mathematically make sense. Now, you might say to yourself, well, wait a minute, I get a tax deduction today. Let's be honest. Right now, today, most middle Americans have a ton of places where they can get tax deductions. If you have children, you can tax deduct your kids and get a tax credit. If you have a mortgage, you can tax deduct the interest that you're paying and get a tax credit. If you're a business owner, you can get 1,001 different tax deductions. Bottom line is, during your working years, you have plenty of places to get tax write-offs. You know what happens when you retire? When the kids are adults and living on their own, when the mortgage is paid for, and when you're no longer in business because you're, retired, you have 0 places to hide money. You have 0 places to get tax write-offs. So what you're basically saying is, Uncle Sam, when I retire, you can tax me on all of my money, not just the principal, but all my earnings. Oh, and by the way, I'm not going to know what that tax bracket's going to be because it's still a question mark. I don't know where taxes are going to go. Now, if you're saying to yourself, well, Tony, do you know where taxes are going? Do you have a prediction? I do. My prediction is that taxes are going to go up. Taxes are going to go up. It's just a mathematical formula. Here's why. Ready? Watch this. 76 million people are turning 65. 76 million people. That is 43% of the US population. That is 10,900 people every single day have a birthday and they turn 65 years of age. Let me ask you a question. What does the government pay you when you turn 65? Anybody know? Come on. What is it?
Social Security.
Social Security.
Social Security.
SSI, Social Security income. The government's not going to have enough money to pay 76 million people, 43% of the United States, Social Security, 40 years worth of work that they've put into this country. And when they run out of the Social Security fund,
What happened?
they're not going to look at the US population. Somebody's unmuted. Let me mute you. There we go. They're not going to look at the US population of people and say, hey, sorry, we ran out of your money. My bad. They're not going to do that. Here's what they will do, though. They're going to increase taxes on the younger generation. The Gen Xers, the millennials like myself that are still working, they're going to increase taxes on all of us so that they can take that extra money to continue to pay Social Security. But unfortunately, these accounts, when you tap into it, it comes out as earned income, which means these accounts are also going to get affected by that increase of tax. So if this is your nest egg, and you might be saying, well, wait a minute, I can, 30% to Uncle Sam. You don't know if it's 30% or 40% or 50% or 60% or 70%. You might say, I got $1 million in there, but what if only 300,000 of it is yours? Because you got to pay Uncle Sam 70% in taxes. And you might say, so that's unrealistic. Is it really? 1978, taxes were at 78%, 70%. It's very realistic. During the Great Depression, taxes went as high as 94% for 4 years. You can't be naive into thinking when you hit retirement that taxes can't go up. They could, and you have zero control of it. Zero. You know what it is to put money in a 401k? It's like doing this. Let me ask an entrepreneur here, right? I'm gonna ask an entrepreneur. If you have a business, unmute yourself and give me your name. If you have a business. Come on now, anybody?
Don't we all have a business?
You're right. Outside of insurance, my bad. That was a trick question. Outside of insurance, if you have a different business outside of insurance, unmute yourself. Give me your name.
Me.
Who's me? Who's me?
Maria.
Maria Mata? Okay,
Yeah.
Maria. Let's say you and I have a business meeting and I say this to you. I say, Maria, listen, you're an expert in a particular industry. I'm a silent investor. Okay. You and I, let's open up a business together. And in this business, you take 70% of the profits. I take 30%. Why? Because I'm just going to be the bank. I'm going to finance the business, but you're the one that's the expert. You're the one that's going to be doing all the legwork. You're doing everything, right? You take 70, I take 30. Now, in the fine print, I want you to understand, if you turn that business into $1 million, a $10 million operation, I mean, it just blows up in the future. But I make bad personal financial decisions. At any time, I could switch it and you take 30% and now I take 70% of the $1 million operation. Maria, would you go into business with me?
No.
You sure? Shake my hand. Come on. That's a good
Definitely
deal.
not.
I'm the silent partner. Go into business with me.
No.
No?
No.
So if you wouldn't take that deal, why are you putting your money in that deal? Why are you putting your money into a 401k? Because that's what a 401k is. A 401k is, hey, listen, taxes today are at 30%. So you keep 70, cool, right? But if the government makes bad financial decisions, how many times does Uncle Sam make good financial decisions, right? Don't worry, I'll wait. If he makes bad decisions in the future and you grow your portfolio into a big, successful $1 million portfolio, Uncle Sam can say, hey, listen, let's switch it. I'll take 70, you take 30. All because an employer said, hey, if you put $1, I'll put $1 and give you a match. Does it really seem that attractive now? Oh, by the way, your 401k, just so you know, you're paying anywhere from 4 to 6% in fees every single year, whether you make money or you don't make money. That financial advisor that's helping you manage that account, by the way, what's your financial advisor's name? Don't worry, I'll wait. Oh, you don't know his name. Well, he or she's making 4 to 6% on this account, whether you make money or you don't make money, just so you know. Just so you know, that's what he's doing. Does that make sense? But I'm getting a dollar for dollar match. Well, let's do the math to that. You put $1 in, the employer puts $1 in, you now have $2. If taxes are at 50%, you now have $1. Let's try it again. You put $1 in, the employer puts $1 in, you now have $2. Taxes are at 51%. You now have 90 cents. Does that dollar for dollar match really make sense now? And I just want you to understand that's what a 401k is. You see, the dollar for dollar match to the employer is a tax write-off to the employer. All they're doing is passing the responsibility of that money down to you, but they're getting a bunch of tax credits by offering that to you. That's what it is. So let me ask you this question. Do you feel comfortable with your 401k? Do you feel comfortable that being 90% of your retirement assets now that you know that at any point in time, Uncle Sam can flip the switch on you and say, hey, I'm taking 70 and you're taking 30. No. But Tony, do you have a solution? I do. I have a solution. Here are my solutions, just so you know. And I'm going to talk lightly about it, and then I can dig deeper into this if this is something of interest to you. Number one, you should no longer be putting any more contributions into any of these environments. You should be putting any future dollars into a tax-free strategy, something that says, I'm going to pay taxes now on the seed, but the harvest is mine, tax-free later on in the future. That's where the wealth of America loves to put money. That's the first thing you need to do with any future contributions. Now, the second thing you want to do is you want to take this money out of this 401k and you want to move it into what's called a personal private pension plan. You want to move it into that because a personal private pension plan, just so you know, doesn't have fees, just so you know, doesn't lose money to the stock market if the stock market goes down. And when you hit retirement, you can actually turn that nest egg into a lifetime stream of income that you'll never, ever, ever outlive. You know why your grandparents worked at the same job for 40 years? Because they didn't have a 401k. They had something called a pension plan. And if they fulfilled 40 years with their employer was going to pay them for the rest of their life, no matter how long they lived. And nowadays, most people have 401ks and they don't mind jumping job to job to job because they get to take their 401k with them. But the 401k also says when you hit retirement and you use up all that money, sorry, you ran out of money, go back to work. What if I could turn your paycheck into a lifetime stream that I like to call a play check? Would you allow me an opportunity to show you how to do that? Yes. Does that exist? It does. It's called a personal private pension plan. And let me explain a little bit about how that works. All right. Now pause. Was this beneficial? Right?
Yes, very.
This is my 401k presentation. The reason I like to draw it on a board or write it on a legal pad is because I want to tell the story. You see, facts tell, but stories sell. You can be a fact checker all day long. You're not motivating people. But if you tell a story along the way that they can relate to, I promise you, you're going to hit them right here. And they'll take action with you. Facts tell, stories sell. Right? I turn your paycheck into a play check. Right? Those types of words, the words of the business are very important. The words are the tools. That's the ammunition that you're using when you're in a client meeting. Your ability to create emotional intelligence and an emotional connection is important. So I like to tell the story. That to me is more powerful than just having a slide. Now, don't get me wrong. No disrespect to those people that like using flip charts or slides. We have them. They're there for you. If you're going to use that, I recommend you use your, if you're doing it on a computer, use your, use your mouse to kind of draw over the lines and tell the story. But I prefer to do it this way. If I did this on a legal pad, you know what I do? I tear it out. I give it to them and I staple my business card to it. And forever and ever, they're going to remember that story. They're going to look at it. I know this story. I got to talk to my husband about this story. I got to talk to my wife about this story. This is scary. Does anybody have any questions before I actually show you the 4 Ps presentation, which is the personal private pension plan? Any questions at all? Everybody's good? I like it. I like it. All right. So what did I do right now? I just beat up the money that they currently have. I created what's called FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I created fear where they have their money. Now they want a solution. Tony, do you have a solution, bro? Can you help me out, bro? Hook a brother up. Sorry, help me out, all right? I do have a solution. Let's talk about the 4 Ps. Four Ps. Again, what does the P stand for? Personal private pension plan. What is it? It's a fixed indexed annuity. This is my annuity presentation. Okay. So how does a pension plan work? I'm going to show you 2 lines here. This line right here represents time. This line right here represents money. The higher the line, the higher the money. The longer down the line, the more the time, right? So we're going to call this today. We're going to call this right here retirement. That's called retirement 65. And we're going to call this right here life expectancy. We'll call this age 100, right? From today to retirement, that period in time, that is called the accumulation period. This is where you're going to make money. So that 401k that you have, let's drop it in right here, right? From this period in time until you retire, this account is going to make money. But how's it going to make money? It's going to make money based on an index. You ever heard of the S&P 500 index, the NASDAQ, the Dow? When you put money into an index fund like this, you're saying that if, let's say the S&P 500, right? The top 500 companies of the world, if those companies go up, I'm going to go up with them. But if those companies go down, meaning the market lost, on the year the market goes down, I'm going to stay where I last left off. So if this is the market crashing, I'm going to stay right here. And then when the market comes back up, I'm going to go back up from where I last left off. So if the market comes back up, I go back up from where I last left off, which means I don't have to play catch up. Tony, wait a minute. Does that really exist? You mean to tell me there's a place that says I can be a fair weather fan with my money? You know, fair weather fans, they're never upset. They only put the jersey on when the team is winning. When the team is losing, they take the jersey off. They put another jersey on. What jersey do they put on? The other team that's winning. So they're never upset. They're always part of the winning team. What if you could be a fair weather fan with your money, where when the market goes up, you go up with it. But if the market goes down, you got nothing to do with the down market. Wait, I'm not playing during a down year. That means that my money's going to grow like a staircase. I like that. What if I told you that 401k that charges you that 4% fee, this has a 0% fee? Nothing. You might say, well, what's the catch? The catch is they want a long-term relationship with you. They don't want you to be a fly-by-night operation. They don't want a side chick. They want a wife. They want a wifey material. You know, you got to give them a good 10 years, 14 years worth of a relationship. So, Mr. Client, you're in your 30s. You're not retiring until you're 60. So 10 to 14 years, you still have the 59.5 rule to worry about. So that doesn't matter in this scenario. So you don't pay fees because you're young. Pretty good. Now, when you finally hit this retirement age, right? I retired. In a 401k, you take the lump sum of money, you pay taxes, a boatload of it, and you use up that money. When that money's gone, it's gone, right? That's called a lump sum withdrawal. You have that option here as well. I'm not going to tell you you don't have it, you do have it. But I'm going to give you another option. That other option is called LTI, which stands for lifetime income. I'm going to give you a choice where you can keep the money there, but in exchange, tell the company to give you a paycheck for the rest of your life. It's a percentage based on how much that's worth. If I turn this portfolio into $1 million and I guarantee you a 6% payout, that means that this company is going to stroke you a check for $60,000 every year for the rest of your life. Now, what happens to the money? Every time you take $60,000 out, the portfolio reduces by $60,000. And it kind of goes down this hill. And eventually there's nothing left. And when there's nothing left, you know that the company is still going to stroke you a check for that same $60,000. They're going to keep giving you that same $60,000, even if you zero out your account. Well, what if you don't zero out your account? What if you pass away here? Whatever's left over, you leave it behind to your family as a beneficiary. Oh, and in certain states, if you become sick and need a nurse to take care of you, this number, this $60,000 doubles times 2. And now you're going to get $120,000 to pay for a nurse to come and take care of you. No questions asked, no underwriting. This is what I call a personal private pension plan. Let me ask you a question, Mr. Client. Is it important for you to get a grip of your money? We all want to get a grip of our money, right? What if I told you this is the best plan to get a grip for your money? And here's what I mean by a grip over your money, right? I'm going to give you guarantees. Guarantee if the market goes down, you're not going to lose anything. Guarantee you're not going to pay a single bit of fees. Guarantee of a lifetime stream of income when you hit retirement, right? I'm going to give you an ROR, which is a rate of return. You're going to make money more than what you put in any year that the market goes up. I'm going to give you an income opportunity where you can generate income for the rest of your life. And the entire time you're there, I'm going to always protect your principal investment plus any prior year's earnings. This is how you get a grip of your money. This is what's called a personal private pension plan. Your grandparents worked at the same employer for 40 years, even though they hated their boss because of the pension plan that was offered. Not for a 401k, but for a pension. How about we turn your money into your own personally managed pension plan that has zero fees, zero market losses, and a lifetime income opportunity, so that when you hit retirement, you never got to worry about outliving your money. You never got to worry about, oh my God, I'm in my 80s, I ran out of money, I got to go back to work. Don't believe me? Go to the nearest Walmart and tell me how old the greeter is at the door. I don't care where you're from. Go to any Walmart, tell me how old the greeter is at the door. I guarantee you they're what? Probably in their 60s. Nothing, no disrespect towards them. Mad respect. They're choosing to work, support themselves, be independent. They don't want to be a burden to their family. They don't want to be a burden to the government. They're working. But be honest, if you had a good-hearted conversation with them, they would tell you at 65, that's not where they thought they were going to be at. But they ran out of money. And that's the biggest risk in retirement, outliving your money. And the biggest threat that causes you to outlive your money is Uncle Sam taxing your money. See, I can't protect your 401k from Uncle Sam taxing it. Unfortunately, you've already made that mistake. But I can give you a lifetime stream of income so you never outlive your money. Even though you're paying taxes, you're still going to always get a paycheck no matter what for the rest of your life. Mr. Client, what would you like to do next? Right? Any questions? Time out, pause. That's my presentation on the 4 Ps, right? What I do next is I tear it out. I put it on the table. Now they're looking at the first tear out, which is what? 401k, ugh, FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt. Now they're looking at the next one and they're like, oh, wait a minute. I like that solution. I like this pension plan. I want to turn my paycheck into a playcheck. What's my next step? What do I do? How do I sign up? How do I get started? What questions do you guys have that I can help answer?
Are there taxes on the when they're pulling money out, the earned income portion for the annuity?
Yeah, when they start drawing money out, they're gonna get a 1099 for the amount of money they drew out, and they're gonna pay earned income on that. Yeah. So if it's a 401k, it becomes an IRA. If it was a Roth 401k, it becomes a Roth IRA. And then if it's a Roth, it's obviously tax-free. If it's money from, let's say, the sale of a house, proceeds of a settlement, and it's already taxed dollars, this becomes a non-qualified pension plan, in which case the principal that you take out is tax-free, but the earnings are still taxable based on earned income. Does that make sense?
Right, but that's talking about the 401k, right? Like the actual, if they're taking money out of the 401k or the IRA.
So you have to understand, where the money comes from is important to determine how this gets taxed. If the money's coming from a 401k, this becomes an IRA and it's 100% taxable when you retire. If the money's coming from a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k, this becomes a Roth IRA, and then therefore the money comes out tax-free because that's how a Roth IRA works. If the money's coming from your bank account, because that money is, proceeds from the sale of a house or, what do you call it? A settlement, whatever. It's taxed. It's already taxed dollars, maybe a CD at a bank. If the money's coming from there, this becomes a non-qualified pension plan, which means the principal is tax-free, but the earnings are taxable according to earned income rates. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. The biggest thing you want to understand is that the pension plan, AKA the annuity, is just the vehicle. You still have to tell the vehicle how Uncle Sam is going to tax it. And that is all 100% determined by where the money's coming from. You can't take a 401k and turn it into a non-qualified account. You can't. You can turn the 401k into an IRA because it's the same tax code. Remember, 401k, 403b, and IRA are all the same exact tax code. So you can move money in between those tax codes because all of those are pre-taxed environments. A Roth can become a Roth. A non-qualified can remain a non-qualified. Does that make sense? Okay. So here's what I will tell you, because taxes in itself should be a completely different training. So you better understand the differences. The biggest thing I want you to understand is how this presentation works. I just gave you an annuity presentation. Did I call it an annuity? No, I called it a personal private pension plan. The term annuity, some people look at it as a negative thing because the annuities from way back in the day in the 80s were garbage. And so they run away from that concept. But when you call it a personal private pension plan, it just makes more logical sense. And that's what it is. And this is an indexed annuity because of the way the money grows, the way it grows, right? That this is something that'll help you out dramatically. Guys, last year, off my personal pen, not the entire organization, just off my personal pen, I did about 3 million in annuity business. 2.5, 3 million, somewhere around there. I issued. And a lot of it was just this right here. Talking to people that had IRA money, talking to people that had money in a CD, talking to people that had money from the sale of a house, talking about people that had money in a 401k. If you have lump sum money and your desire is long-term growth for retirement, this is an option. This is a phenomenal option. Any questions? Was this beneficial? Here's the good thing. This is recorded. So even though you might say, man, I got to watch that presentation a few hundred times. Listen, my advice to you is take these recordings, watch them 5, 10, 15 times, take a legal pad, do the presentation 5, 10, 15 times. I want your spouse to call me up because they're so stinking annoyed of watching these presentations 30 times because you're using them as a guinea pig, and then take that and go apply it into the world. Guys, you do a $300,000 rollover, right? You're talking about somewhere between $15,000 to $20,000 in commissions coming to your bank account. That's what we're talking about, right? Because you're gonna get anywhere from 5 to 10%, let's just say, on every 100,000 that you're bringing over. Welcome to the big leagues. Now we're talking some serious dollars. You know what I mean? So as you're building your insurance practice, your life insurance practice, have 1 or 2 annuities on a monthly basis, and those are like slam dunks. Boom. But notice I didn't show you an illustration. Illustration is nothing more than a piece of paper with a bunch of numbers. Facts tell. That's facts. Sure, show me the numbers, right? But the stories will sell. This sells. I've done a lot of these. I've done a lot of sales where I don't even show an illustration. I don't even tell you which company we're going with. I just showed you conceptually how the product works. And then during the application process, I talk about the company, right? Somebody asked a question. Let me look at the questions because I haven't looked at that while I was talking. Let me see here real quick. I'm going to go back from the beginning. Welcome everybody. Neelam Patel. Good. 4 P's, personal private pension plan. What's the minimum amount allowed for an annuity? So good question. Lump sum. Typically it's $20,000. Well, I'm not gonna lie, it's $10,000 minimum is what most companies are, right? But here's a number you also need to take into account. Certain companies want the client to have a certain dollar amount liquid after they move the money in. That number is about 20,000. You see, your job is to prove suitability. You got to prove to the insurance company that you're doing this with that it's a suitable recommendation, that after they put their money here and after they tie it up for 10 years or 14 years or whatever they do, the client still has another place they could tap into short-term money. So they want to see that there's still liquidity after that money goes in. Now, you might get some clients that say, I don't have lump sum. I just want to do monthly contributions into here. Do we have a solution? There is. You could probably use like NLG. You could do $100 a month into an IRA, into something like that. I would tell you, if you've never done annuities, that's a great application to practice, because I'll be 100% honest with you. Commissions on that is very, very, very low. Me personally, and I'm not saying it to be how do I say it? I don't want to sound bougie or pompous because that's not who I am. I don't consider myself that person. However, I do value my time. And so I need to make sure that I'm still maximizing my time. Me personally, my personal practice, I won't talk to a client about this unless I know they've got at least $20,000 that they're bringing in. That merits my time because I have to take into account the time for the application, the time for the underwriting, the time for transfers of money, all that stuff. And, you know, 20,000 or higher typically merits the commission that comes from it, right? But if you're brand new and you run into a $10,000 opportunity, jump, like take that as an experience to learn how to prep the app and everything like that. Here's another advice I'm going to give you. I'm going to highlight somebody else in TKO Financial Network. With annuities, very different from life insurance. With annuities, when you submit the application to the insurance company, if there's a mistake in that application, you have to go back to the client. The client has to change the mistake, initial the mistake, and date the mistake. That can get pretty cumbersome and you can lose some credibility if you got to go back and forth to the client. With life insurance, it's different. With life insurance, you can over the phone change whatever you want to change, and then the insurance company will approve it, and they don't need the client to sign anything other than maybe an amendment, you know, when you deliver the policy. But with an annuity, it has to be changed right then and there. So something that I recommend you do is the following as you're learning this. Number one, reach out to your upline VP, right? They should have experience in that world to be able to spot check your applications, number one. Number two, don't put dates on it until you're ready to turn it in, because some companies will not accept the application if it's 10 days old. So I don't like to put dates on the application until it's been scrubbed, looked through, and ready to go. That's number two. Number three, I'm going to highlight somebody else in our back office. Her name is Donna McLaughlin. Donna, D-O-N-N-A. Donna is your annuity specialist. You can call Donna. Let me tell you what Donna does for you guys. You'll love this. Donna will run the illustration and email it to you. I'm going to tell you that personally. I don't even know how to run an index annuity illustration. I call her up. I'm like, here's what I got. Here's what I need. Can you email me the illustration? She'll say, give me an hour. Boom, done. If you need help because you're competing with another agent outside of the company, you're competing with somebody that's going to present another annuity, she'll chop up the annuity that you're competing with and show you where the leaks are, and then she'll role play with you. So when you meet with the client, you know what to say and how to say it. But I'll take it a step further. If you need her to help you make the sale, she'll get on a Zoom meeting with you and help you make the sale. She'll help you make the sale. And she doesn't need a split. She'll help you make the sale. She'll help you prep the application. She'll help you scrub the application before you turn it in. And then she'll help you during the underwriting of the application as well. She'll even help you with the transfer of funds. Guys, when I tell you she will walk you through the whole process, she will, with one expectation. One expectation, you got to be learning along the way. You got to be willing to learn along the way, This isn't about her being your assistant, like, here, do it for me. You got to show her that you're learning along the way and you're leveraging her. But she'll gladly get in the field and do that with you. Gladly get in the field and do it with you. Zoom, sorry, not in the field. She'll get in a Zoom meeting with you and do it. Okay, that's who Donna is. So you guys know, she's the annuity specialist. Super nice lady. Amazing lady. Like I said, she touches every single one of my annuities. I'm 18 years in this industry. She touches every one of my annuities, and I have her spot check everything before I submit it. Because if there's a mistake, I'd rather fix it then and there, because I don't like going back to clients for initials, you know, making it look like I don't know what the heck it is that I'm doing. But that's just me. That's just me. Any questions? No? Everybody's good? Okay. Couple things you want to collect in an application. Picture of a driver's license, number one. Some insurance companies will require you to submit a picture with the person holding the driver's license. So get in that habit. Tell the client, right? Mr. Client, I need you to take a picture of yourself, a selfie of yourself holding the driver's license next to you. That's been a fairly new requirement because of COVID-19 and social distancing. So that's the kind of picture you want to have, along with a picture of the actual license itself. You always have to have that. And then the last thing you want to have is a copy of the most recent statement where the money's coming from. You want to have that with you. Okay? You want to make sure you have that with you. I will tell you this, the hardest annuity to do is when you're replacing another annuity. 401k to annuity, super easy. IRA to annuity, super easy. Bank account money, to super easy. Annuity to annuity, moving money from an annuity to an annuity, 100% get a certified trainer involved if you don't know how to do those. 100%. Because there's extra paperwork that is so freaking particular and specific, guys. You don't want to go at that by yourself. I promise you, you'll make 50 mistakes. Take a certified trainer with you. Be willing to have them help you with the case. Yes, does that mean, that they're going to work the case with you and probably have some type of a split? They probably will, but you're paying for that education because you'll only have to learn it once or twice before you could do it by yourself. Or leverage Donna. She'll help you out as well with it as well too. But when it comes to that, I highly encourage you to take somebody who really knows it. Any questions about that? No. Good stuff. Beneficial.
Amazing.
Awesome. All right. We're about an hour in. If you guys can give me another 20 minutes, I can knock out the second half of the training, which is how to prep for a drop by, if you guys are good. But I want to make sure there's no more questions about the 401k or the 4Ps personal private pension plan before I shift into a completely different topic. You guys want to meet my dog? Come here. Come here. Come here. This is one of my babies right here. Look at this bad boy. This is Kobe. He's my 1.5-year-old boxer. I don't know how he's a freaking genius. He knows every time I'm done with a meeting, every time I'm done, he comes up to me. He's just anxious right now and wants to come. And he's like, guys, you're taking me away from my dad. I want to play with him. Go play. Go, I'll be back. All right. Let's talk about prepping for a drop by. A drop by, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to focus on lead generation for those of you that are buying leads. I need you to understand something. The moment you accept the numbers for what they are is the moment that you understand what kind of activity it is that you need to do in order to really succeed in the world of leads. I'm not the person that's going to tell you leads don't work. I've seen many people and I know many people that succeed heavily in leads, but they understand the numbers. I'm also going to tell you, I've seen many people succeed in the world of referrals. I come from a world of referrals. I know how to take a client and build such a great relationship with them that they'll refer me to 10, 15 other people in their family. And now I'm putting a nest in that family tree and I'm there for 6 months. I can teach you how to transition into that world. But for those of you that are starting with leads, or for those of you that always want to work in leads, you need to know the numbers. Here's the numbers for lead gen. Here's the numbers, because they're very different than top 25 warm list. It's just a different animal. Here's the numbers. Your schedule that you should run if you're running a lead gen business is this. Mondays and Thursdays are dial days. Mondays, you're making phone calls. Thursdays, you're making phone calls. Mondays, when you're making phone calls, you're doing it because you want to fill up Tuesday and Wednesday's calendar. You're not dialing on Monday to schedule Friday. You're dialing on Monday to schedule Tuesday and Wednesday. You want fast turnaround from phone call to meeting to application. Boom. So Monday, you're dialing for Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday, you're dialing for Friday and Saturday. And then Sunday is your day with Jesus, is your day with your family, is your day to catch up. It's your off day, however you want to look at it. But Monday, dial for Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, dial for Friday, Saturday. Now, this is the part where you're going to go, are you serious? Yes. You're trying to do about 250 calls a day. 250 Monday, 250 Thursday. That's why I call it a dial day. Don't have anything else but that. If you use an auto dialer, I highly recommend it. We have a CRM system called Jarvis that you can subscribe to. It's $75 to $100 a month. It has an auto dialer in there. Jennifer Jung can attest. She's been using it lately. She can knock out 100 calls in about an hour and a half's time because it's such a phenomenal dialer, and it automatically leaves voicemails behind the phone calls. It creates a lot of speed. But nonetheless, 250 calls on Monday, 250 calls on Thursday. That's 500 calls a week. You'll schedule from 500 calls, 40 appointments. 10 on Tuesday, 10 on Wednesday, 10 on Friday, 10 on Saturday. You'll keep a quarter of those. You'll only actually physically meet with 10 people. And out of the 10 people you meet with, you'll close about 3 of them. Now you're like, what the heck? Are you serious? You see how the numbers started so big? Oh, to find those 3 clients. Now here's the good news. If you're spending, let's say you're buying real-time leads, right? They range about $500 for every 20 leads. So you're buying 40 leads a week, spending about $1,000 a week. You're probably selling final expense leads. That's what's in demand right now. If you're making $1,000 per sale on average, because that's kind of the average sale you're making, right? So you spent $1,000 to get 40 numbers, you dialed 500 calls, right? You made your 3 sales. If every sale is $1,000, you just made what? You just made $3,000 on a $1,000 investment. You get what I'm saying? You just made $3,000 on a $1,000 investment. Here's the reality. For 40 leads that you buy, you'll probably sell 6. Every 20 leads, you should sell 3 clients. So if you're buying 40 leads a week, right? And you're rotating that, you're going to make anywhere from 3 to 6 sales on average every single week. So that's $3,000 to $6,000 for a $1,000 investment. The better you get, the closer you get to that 6 sales. The newer you are, the closer you're going to get to the 3 sales. So I'm going to talk when you become a veteran. When you become a veteran, you're selling six policies a week. You're making $6,000 a week on a $1,000 investment. That means $24,000, $25,000 of gross income per month on a $4,000 monthly budget of leads. But look at the activity that you need to do to make that a reality. 500 calls a week generates 40 appointments. 40 appointments generates 10 people you actually meet with. 10 people you actually meet with generates 3 sales to 6 sales, depending on how good of a level you are, right? Now, let me talk about those 3 sales you make for every 20 leads you buy, because there's a difference between each person. This will give you a little bit more clarity, okay? Out of the 20 leads you buy, 3 of them buy. 1 of them has a check in his forehead. Literally, I mean, he's just like, take my money. Take my money. Here's my check. Take it. That's how he is. You just got to make sure you're the first one to get there before another person who bought that lead gets there. Speed. 1 person's like that. The second person has the check, but it's in his pocket. It's in his wallet. He won't take that check out until you show him you know what the heck you're talking about. He won't take that check out until he feels confident in who you are, trustworthy in who you are. Now, the third person doesn't know if they want to buy. The third person needs convincing. The third person more than likely isn't even going to answer the phone. The third person, you need to drop by that person's house and knock on their door. Remember, final expense leads are typically 65 years or older type clients. That is a very old school generation. That is not a technology generation. That is not a text message generation. That is not a phone call generation. That is a belly to belly, hi, how are you? Shake your hand, look at you square in the face type of generation, right? So that third sale, 90% of the times won't even answer the phone when you're dialing. Therefore, you need to do what? You need to drop by their house. And a lead gives you phone number and address. This is why I want to teach you on drop bys, because it is going to be a third of your income. That's the difference between making 66,000 or 100,000. It's that big. You might look at it and think, oh, it's just 1 sale, but it's 1 sale for every 20 leads, 1 sale for every 20 leads. And if you're buying 40 a week, that's 2 sales a week. And if that's 2 sales a week, that's 104 sales a year. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, period. It's just a lot of money. It matters that much. But now you know the numbers. Don't be the agent that says, man, I'm spending a fortune on these leads. How many dials are you doing every week? 100. Wait, what? You're doing 100 dials, but you're mad. You're spending $1,000, but you're just not doing the activity that the $1,000 merits. So now I'm being very transparent with you. 500 calls a week if you want to work in the lead gen game. This is why an auto dialer is such a crucial thing that you need to have. Jarvis allows you to do that. And Jarvis costs like $75 a month on a month-to-month contract if you're not a VP. And if you are a VP or above, it's $100 a month because it does other services for you. But it's super, super stinking cheap. You need to have it. You absolutely need to have it if you want to knock out 500 calls. If you're buying $1,000 worth of leads and you're not willing to knock out 500 calls a week, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. Maybe you'll successfully call by coincidence. You'll successfully call the guy who has a check on his forehead and you make your quick $1,000 and therefore you doubled your money. But the probability of you doing that every single time, if you have lazy activity habits, slim to none. So just prep yourself. 20 leads, 20 turns into 3 sales. 1 person's ready to buy. The other person needs you to prove it. The third person doesn't even answer the phone, doesn't even think they want it. You got to convince them. You got to drop by. You got to. So now let's talk about drop bys. Best time for drop-bys, I'm going to tell you right now, Saturday evenings and on Sundays. It's the best time. People are home then. How do you want to go to this drop-by? I'm going to tell you right now. Drop-bys. You want to be dressed business casual, right? Maybe some dress slacks or a nice pair of dark blue jeans and a polo. You know, maybe a polo with your agency logo on there, whatever organization you're a part of, right? Cool, right? You want to get a lanyard. If you guys know what a lanyard is, it's that little string that you put over your neck with a little laminated business card. You know what you want that business card to be? A little picture of your insurance license. You know how a lot of state officials have that, you know, badge? You want to have that with you, right? Hey, hang on, I think Maria has a lanyard. Is that what you're showing? Your graphic, since you have the digital graphic, I can't see it, but I think that's what you're showing us. Yes, you should invest into one of those and have your state insurance license laminated in there. So when you're knocking on the door, you look like an official person. You're a business professional. They look at you and they think you're a state official. Hi, how are you? My name is Jose. My legal name is Jose Antonio Martinez. Just so y'all know, that's why I go by Tony, my middle name. So since my license says that, right? And so, hi, how are you? My name is Jose Martinez. Here's my state license, right? You want to do that for your drop by. Next thing, I'm not going to say second thing because I can't keep count. I'm going to say next thing you want to have, right? Next thing, okay? I would tell you, bring something. Bring some cookies. Go to the pastry shop and pick up a little box of cookies or whatever. People love goodies, I promise. If you feed them even more, they like it. You know those little white pastry boxes when you go to bakeries, you put a couple of pastries in there. On top of that box, put your business card. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Okay, bring it with you. I promise you, you will run into that little old lady that'll really appreciate it, because remember the generation they come from. They come from the generation where if you move into the neighborhood, you're gonna get a fruit basket is where they're coming from. So if you can relate to that world, I promise you, you'll be more apt to them letting you in the door to talk business. Okay. A couple other things you want because of today's time. You want a mask, you want gloves, you want hand sanitizer. I don't care what your view is on COVID-19. You're a salesman. You've got to cater to what's important to them. And if they value it that much, you got to show up with it. Have it ready to go. Okay. I'm not here to tell you what my viewpoint is on it or not. I'm here to tell you, I want to help a family. I want to make a sale. I want to support my family. I have to cater to them as much as possible. Maybe they're like, no, you don't need that. And if you're the person that's, you're not that, you don't have that belief, great, cool. Maybe you are of that belief, in which case respect to yourself and take it with you. But you got to assume that they always want you to have that. Next thing you want to bring with you in your car is a fold-out table and 2 fold-out chairs, because of today's time. Sometimes they don't want you in their house because they don't know you, because of COVID, because of whatever. So they don't mind having a conversation with you if it's outside in their front porch. Tony, are you telling me I'm going to sit in front of their porch? Yes. Take out a table, take out 2 chairs, put them across from each other, put them 6 feet apart, and be willing to have a conversation outside. Be willing to have that. That's the difference between someone that makes $60,000 a year, someone that makes $120,000 a year. So it's up to you, right? You could be cool and broke, or you could be, a dork but rich, whatever you want to call it. But that's the truth. That's the difference between going above that little extra mile. Okay. Another thing you want to have with you, I encourage you to invest into this. It's called the Kaizen Soulmate packet. If you look in our website under documents and resources, you'll find a folder there called Kaizen Soulmate. Let me tell you what that is. It's a legal packet with instructions in the back of how to print out the state approved will, power of attorney, and medical care directive. Most people, when they think of those documents, they think I got to spend $1,000 and I got to get an attorney to do it for me. Okay. I have access to a resource library that all of you have access to. If you follow that packet, the instructions are there, where you get to print out your state's approved will, power of attorney, and medical care directive. That packet also has a balance sheet where they can write their assets, their liabilities, their account numbers, their emergency contact numbers, their beneficiary names. It also has a location there for them to write a last message, so to speak, to their loved ones, like a goodbye letter. It has it there. That's why I call it a Kaizen Soulmate packet, right? I use that packet heavily for drop-bys. I tell the client, Mr. Client, I just want you to understand, I'm a licensed, state-approved agent. I'm designated to your territory, even though I'm not, right? I'm designated to your territory. I want you to know you qualify for a free state-approved legal packet that includes a will, a power of attorney, and a medical care directive. You could use this with all of your existing assets or any future insurances. I just need 10 to 15 minutes of your time to go over that packet with you and let you know what types of insurances you also qualify for. Most people will respond to things that are free. I want that. That's free. That's a lot of money from an attorney. I want that. That's my hook. That's my hook to get in the door. So drop-bys are beautiful in that sense. You got to wake up and be ready for a drop-by. You got to wake up and be ready for people not to answer their door. You got to wake up and be ready for people to slam the door on you. I'm not interested. You got to be ready for that. But all you're looking for is that 1 or 2 sales. Each sale makes you $1,000. So let me ask you a question. If 5 people slam the door on you and then the last person, the 6th person closes some business, you make $1,000. Are you upset? I hope you're not. You just made $1,000. Some people would kill to make $1,000 that fast. Was it 1 meeting? No, it was 6. It was 6 drive-bys, 5 door slams, and 1 person let you in the door, but you made your $1,000. You do that twice a week, you just made $2,000 in a week. I mean, it's easy, but you got to come prepared with those things. So you wake up, have energy, have a smile, be ready to go, right? For those of you, like if you live in Florida like I do, right? It's kind of hot, right? You're going to perspirate and sweat a little bit, right? Bring a napkin and kind of clean your face off. Ladies, redo the makeup, whatever, okay? But be prepared. When you knock on the door, hi, how are you? Thank you so much for thank you so much for opening the door for me. My name is Tony Martinez. I don't want to take up a lot of your time. Here's my state license. My license number is P104692. I work for the Department of State of Florida for the insurance programs. I'm actually knocking on your door today because you or someone in your home recently inquired over the need for our funeral expense, burial expense, or life insurance programs. And there are some programs that you qualify for at a very low cost. I wanted to see if you had 10, 15 minutes for us to chat. No, thank you. I'm not interested. I can understand that. Listen, in addition, okay, I have this packet. It's a state-approved packet that we're providing for people in your community. It has a will, it has a medical care directive, and it has a power of attorney. You could use this packet, which typically runs about $1,000 to $3,000 with an attorney. You could use this with your existing assets or any future insurances. Is this something you might be of interest? Is this something that might be of interest to you? I've got a couple other meetings. People have been very much dying for it. I just wanted to stop by and see if I could share that with you. Oh, I am interested. Can I have it? I can, but I need 10, 15 minutes of your time to share with you how it works. And in the same token, I'm required, my boss is requiring me to tell you which insurance program it is that you're already pre-qualified for. Do you have 5, 10 minutes? Sure, no problem. By the way, here's a packet of cookies. I just wanted to stop by, show you some gratitude. My business card is on there. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know with the craziness that's going on right now, people are very sketchy, but I really wanted to shake your hand and put a face to the name and smile. And you're just building rapport, letting people to what? Let's have this conversation. Let's have this conversation. Don't give that packet unless they're willing to have the conversation with you, right? And look at my script, right? Hey, listen, my manager requires me to go over this packet with you. And I have to also show you which programs you've already been pre-approved for before I can actually physically give you the packet. No, I'm not interested. Okay, no problem. If you change your mind, right? Here's a flyer that explains the packet. You don't give them the packet. I actually have a flyer that I created that you can use that explains the packet without giving them the packet. Here's my contact information. Here's some cookies. Here's some pastries. Have a great day. Boom. And you know what you want to do? Come back next week. Holy crap, Tony, you kidding me? They just told me no. Come back next week. I mean, look, as long as the person wasn't a complete jerk and they weren't rude, come back next week. Hey, how are you? Hey, John, how are you? Nice to meet you. Listen, this is Tony Martinez. We met last week. I wanted to stop by. I honestly, I just took the assumption that last week you were probably just busy. I was in the area. I was helping out some of your neighbors. Everybody here has been very thrilled about that packet. I wanted to see if I could just stop in and maybe you can have a change of heart. By the way, here, I brought, you know, I brought a pie for you. Right? Knock on the door again. Be persistent. Be persistent. You paid for the lead. You know what I'm saying? You paid for the lead. They got to tell you yes, they got to tell you no. And if they tell you no, I would have them tell you no 2-3 times before it really becomes a no. That's just my opinion. You got to, I mean, that's what it takes. That's what it takes. If you want to start making 6 sales a week, you'll go from 3 to 6 sales. 3 if you're lazy about it. 3 if you don't go the extra mile. 6 if you really become a master of your craft. 6,000 a week, 24,000 a month. Now you're making $250,000 a year. You want to know what's the difference between someone that makes 50,000 in this 15 to 50,000 in this industry versus $250,000 in this industry? It's all of these little extras. That little bit of extra, that little bit of persistency, that little bit of, I'm going to go in there again. The one who is least afraid of the no's, least afraid of the hangups, willing to make it a point to go and knock on the doors and do drop-bys will win at this game. You will. But if you're not willing to drive by because, oh my God, the house is 40 minutes away from my house, I don't want to drive over there because what if they're not there? I just wasted my time. That person already failed. Already failed. But I promise you, something I learned a long time ago as I finish here and I conclude with y'all. God's funny. God has an amazing accounting system. I swear to you, he does. Okay. He gives to the givers. He takes from the takers. He has a great accounting system. He will balance it. I don't care if you go knock on doors 3 Saturdays in a row, you drive an extra 30, 40 minutes. Nobody answers, nobody answers, nobody answers. Every one of those no's, I promise you, God will balance the scale and he will give you a sale that's going to come that'll make up and be worth every one of those doors that you knocked on that didn't answer, every one of those doors you knocked on and they didn't say yes. You'll run into one case. Coincidentally enough, the son will be there. You're going to sell the final expense policy to that person and the son's going to say, hey, listen, I got $300,000 sitting in an old 401k. Do you happen to specialize on that? And you're going to go, wait, what? Listen, let me talk to you about 401ks and this personal pension plan. And all of a sudden, you just did a $300,000 rollover and you made 18 grand and you're like, holy crap. I got turned down 20 times. I went out 3 Saturdays in a row. I spent $100 in my gas tank and $50 worth of pastries. People slammed the door on me, humiliated me. That one case just made you 18 grand. And you get to go home to your family and say, family, you just made $18,000 this month. Get ready. Because my skin just got thicker. This business works. I'm buying $2,000 a week worth of leads and I'm knocking on doors twice a week, not 1 time a week. It's like that. Anytime I've ever gone through a slump in business, I've always known God's going to balance the scales. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow. I don't know. He's got something big in store for me that he just wants me to earn it. I need to get slammed on the door a couple more times. I need to get more people hanging up on me. I need to get more people canceling on me. I need to get more people that I did interviews on that didn't come on board. God's going to balance the scale. He just needs me to earn it. Asking you shall receive, but when he's giving it to you, he wants to make sure you earning it first, right? You don't say to God, God, make me more patient. What he does is he gives you opportunities to be more patient. Get ready for what he's going to give you. It's the same concept, guys. I promise you, this is just me speaking from my experiences. I promise you, the odds, the scale will get balanced to those people that are consistent and persistent. Consistent and persistent. I'm not here to work. I'm not trying to motivate you. I'm trying to work with motivated people, right? If I got to motivate you to fight for your goals, if I got to care about your goals more than more than you care about your goals, there's a problem there. I give you the tools. You got to get ready to clock in. Look at your family, look at your why, look at your cause, look at your crusade, look, whatever it is, but become persistent and recognize this industry pays you thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, not for the yeses, but for how much tolerance you have to accept the no's. The person that accepts more no's makes more money. I promise you, it just is that way, period. Period. It's just that way. Does anybody have any more questions before I close it off for the night? Was this beneficial? Good stuff.
This was amazing.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Very good
Thank you.
information.
Thank you.
Very informative.
Good. I'm glad. Here's my request as you guys leave. Okay. If you're on the Voxer, let me get your top 2 takeaways. Right. There's some people that wanted to make it on that couldn't make it on. There's some people that had no intention on making it on, and maybe they're going to regret that they didn't make it on. Let them hear from you guys. What are the top 2 things that you guys learned? Right. And the second thing I want you to do is when I upload this to our YouTube channel, okay, subscribe to the channel. That way you get notifications whenever there's new videos up. But make it a point to watch this video 4 or 5 times. You're not going to capture all this based on just this 1 hour. In the next 2 hours, you're going to forget half of this information. But if you make it a point to watch this video 3 or 4 times, get a legal pad, practice the presentation, prep yourself for what it is to knock on the doors, invest into yourself and get yourself some leads. I promise you, you do that. And all you're doing is it's like a basketball player. You're in the court and you're just free throw, free throw, free throw, free throw, free throw. I'm not leaving the court until I make my 100 free throws. Why? Because on game day, the winning shot is a free throw, right? Go practice this. Go do this over and over again. Upset your significant others that I told you to go and do this with them 10 times when all they really want to do is watch some TV with you. And let them know I'm doing this with you because I don't want to watch TV of, Costa Rica. I don't want to watch TV about that cruise ship. I don't want to watch TV about that destination I want to go to. I want to do this so I can make the money so we can go see the destination live in person. Make sense? Have a good one, guys. Be blessed. This coming Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern time, we'll be doing another training. Okay, so stay tuned for that piece. I appreciate you guys giving me your evening hour from your family. I'm going to let you guys get going. I'm going to cut off the recording and I'm going to stay on for another minute or 2 as you guys log out for anybody that has any last minute questions.